very small, it's not that much a lot, so you'll get a review of all the accounts and how much everyone owes, and it'll be a fairly good update. Every year they're going to do that.
So do they actually send the bills, the assessments out to the?
What they will handle is they will integrate the number in with the county tax assessor collector's office, and it will be integrated into that tax bill. And so every year they will integrate the account balance on each account, and it'll be inputted into the county's computer. The county software was updated in December of 2007 when the Trophy Club transaction was done, and there was an amount paid to purchase the software updates for Denton County, and they can do the assessment things down with the software.
So then people that live out there, they just get their bill just like everybody else from Denton County
Yes.
Assessor. They pay their taxes, and then whatever comes to us still comes to us, and whatever goes into the PID that goes.
Correct, into a segregated account in Unicap or whoever you add as third-party administrator.
And they administer all of that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on the council? Lance, anything to add?
No.
Take a vote.
We have a motion just on the ordinance as presented.
Okay. Councilman Clark?
I make a motion that we approve the ordinance related to the Hickory Creek Public Improvement District #1 as presented.
Councilman Clark's made a motion, with a second. Second. Councilman Guinea seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 4, consider an act on the ordinance of the town of Hickory Creek, Texas, amending the town's code of ordinances, chapter 1, general provisions, article 1.10, parks recreation, section 1.10.003, prohibition of subsection 10. Commissioner Walker.
Yes, right now our current ordinance just states that you have to pay for a boat ramp or day use slip. I currently write several warnings a month concerning people who either have forgotten to put out their receipt or put it out incorrectly so that it's upside down and unreadable. And whenever they bring in the payment proof, those tickets get dismissed, even though both the receipt itself and the hang tag said if you don't display it properly, it is a violation. So what I'm trying to do here is add improper display so that we can write tickets for those violations and go ahead and collect those fees.
Lance, any problem with that?
No. No, we just make it clear the prohibition, subsection 10 here.
Council okay with it?
Is this a big number we're talking about, or is it 1 or 2? How many are you talking?
Well, as the summer goes on, it gets more and more. I probably currently write 3 or 4 a month. As the summer goes on, it'll probably be 5 or 6 a week. People who either mostly just put it upside down so that I can't read it. And I probably write 2 or 3 tickets a month of people who had improper slips for the wrong date or the wrong either boat ramp days. If they put it upside down, I can't tell when it was issued or what for. So to put this in place, whether or not it's correct, but they didn't display it improperly, we can't go anywhere with those fees.
Tom, Karen, you have a problem with that?
I knew there was a problem with it. I didn't realize it was this rampant. I mean, yeah, we need the money. I mean, we spent a lot of money getting those pay stations in, and Judith and the rest of the town employees worked hard to get those new hanging things we put off the rear view mirrors. So they're not that hard. It says this side forward or whatever. So.
Does it?
I also have several people that stick it down, you know, the dark strip on the bottom of the windshield. They stick it down here so it's unreadable. So if they bring in a current slip for that too, if I agree to take it, we would not be able to collect those fees because the court would go ahead and dismiss it as the ordinance is currently written. So I have to get people that fold them in half so I can't read them.
Yeah, and I know that happens because the gentleman I work with at work fishes the label line said he did that, but it didn't get dismissed. So That's what it is. All right, any other discussion? Entertain a motion? Councilman Wiseman?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance for the town of Hickory Creek as presented, amending the town's code of ordinances, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Article 1.10 for the Parks and Recreation.
All right, Councilman Wiseman, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Councilman Creed, second, all in favor? All right, moving on to the next item. Consider an act on the ordinance of the town of Hickory Creek, Texas, amending the town's code of ordinances, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Article 1.10, Parks and Recreation, Division 3, Keep Hickory Creek Beautiful Committee.
Yes. Linda Goldberg wrote our original ordinance about 4 years ago. Good ordinance, however, that's not the way Keep Hickory Creek Beautiful works in real life. We're supposed to have 7 to 8 members. We have 3 people that show up on a regular basis. So I can probably count on one hand the number of times we've had a quorum for Keep Hickory Creek Beautiful at our meetings. So what I've done is I've gone back through, and since Keep Hickory Creek Beautiful is a subsidiary of the Parks Board, I've suggested that one member be appointed as a member of the Parks Board to oversee Keep Hickory Creek Beautiful. Other members would be, well, me, by ordinance, I would still be on there, but any other members would be volunteers that come to meetings, basically. I've simplified it also, and also produced SOPs on how the organization is actually run, since Linda Fulford is stepping back, and we need those SOPs in place so that going forward we know what to do.
Did you by chance present that to the Parks Board?
Yes, the Parks Board looked at it.
And I made sure everybody read it. There wouldn't be any questions, so it's been vetted by everybody on the board.
Any discussion with council?
But it really fundamentally changes how the board is put together. So there's no appointing to terms, there's no council appointment, it's just, it kind of sounds like just whoever wants to come.
And that's the way it's been. That's the way we run it. I've showed up to 90% of the meetings. Linda Fulford showed up to everyone, and then we either have Sharon Stewart or Linda Collins are the people that show up at every single meeting. We have Tori Iverson off of Indian Trail is working with us to work on the website, but he doesn't show up to, I think he showed up to 3 meetings so far. And we have a couple of other citizens that have shown up to 2 meetings apiece. And basically, it's just me and Sharon or Linda.
We just need a way of getting it done, in spite of the lack of volunteers for the committee.
Right.
And this right here addresses that.
And if in the future, if this doesn't work, or if we get more volunteers on a regular basis, we can set it up more rigid. But this is the way it's actually working right now.
Well, I think it's the same, we've dealt with this for the last 10 years. I mean, smaller committees and stuff, it's harder to get people to come, and you don't have consistent meetings all the time, and there's not a, ultimate goal, docks being built and stuff like that. So I think it's perfect for the setup that we need to make that happen, as long as the Parks Board's good with it. Discussion? You entertain a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the ordinances as presented for amending the town code ordinance, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Article 1.10.
Council Weiser's made a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Council McKinney seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Chris, for this again. Thank you all for
And
coming.
thank you all. I'd like to say that Linda Fulford and Chris have worked hard on getting those ordinances and the SOPs put together. They did an outstanding job on that.
I second. All in favor?
All right, item 6. Consider an act on the master fee schedule establishing and amending various fee amounts within the schedule. Fees being established within the adoption master fee schedule, higher than LA fees.
fee schedule to go to. There are a few changes on it. Most of the fees in here are things that were on the current fee schedule as approved.
Right.
It's just been rearranged so that it's more detailed, well, not detailed, more cohesive. Yeah. So the only things that really were added to it, there's a few things I found in the ordinances when I spoke to the ordinances and that I added and added references to, so you can check back or refer back to the original ordinance. The only new fees on it is the donation box annual, I'm suggesting $50 per year. The temporary merchandise storage container, I'm suggesting $50 per month. These are the ordinances will be approved back for February. And also on my part, I'm also suggesting that we add a double permit fee for work started without a permit. That would be a discretionary fee, but I do sometimes have companies that consistently start work without a permit, and they just aren't getting the script. Jeffrey also had an addition on the animal fee schedule for adoption fee for dogs, raising it to $150 as opposed to $120 for cats.
The owner release fee going from $50 to $100 as well.
Right.
So the double fee would be like related to last month when we had a company come in town that didn't get a sign permit.
Yeah.
And has been doing business for 30 years, but didn't know
Yes.
they needed a sign permit.
The people that are constantly telling me, oh, my manager was supposed to have got that, sorry, we forgot.
Right. Okay. So and just for the folks out there that aren't seeing this, this is for all the fees in town. That no new fees really, just alarm fees, animal control fee schedule, building and zoning fees, residential building fee schedule, and those things. So nothing new that's being added.
Actually, I think we changed, we upped the solicitor's fee because we have to do background checks on them, and we also upped the roofing fee. I believe it went from 30 to 50.
Okay.
And those are the only other two
So the
fees
soliciting
that
fee being the folks that are supposed to check in with us for the knock on doors.
we went from 50 to 75 on that, plus an additional $25 for each additional background check.
Okay. Court fee schedule stayed the same?
Yes, there weren't changes to that. I just added some things that were not on the original fee schedule that we do charge fees for, just so that everything's in one place.
Right. That's how it's going to be on the website as well too? Okay. Park fee schedule, no changes there?
No,
Police department fee schedule, no changes there?
no.
Jeffrey, on the adoption, I guess Councilman Capri, is that, you think that's worthwhile raising that up like that?
It'll just about break us even.
Yeah, I think historically, what we looked at was maintenance and food and routine medical kind of stuff and comparisons with other cities, but I think what more recently came to light, which we didn't include in our previous request for an increase, was the cost of medication. It's, might as well call it Medicare, everything's going up. And Jeffrey gave us some examples of what he pays for some of the medication we have to have. And what hurts us is if we are able to buy in quantity, it would be fairly affordable, but we can't. So it doubles and triples in cost as the amount goes down, and that's part of what we're facing right now. Still did another recent survey in terms of what the adoption fees are in other towns and cities, and we're either at or below what the average is everywhere else around North Texas.
I guess I wouldn't want to see it too much where people wouldn't come adopt because it would be so hard to do it, you know what I mean? So if we get too far up there.
And the flexibility is still there, it's still wrote in there for having the flexibility. If I feel like, you know, you're a good potential adopter and honestly feel like you can't afford that $150, then I can flex the fees to, you know, put that in my still in there too. And then the reason for raising the owner release fee is we were getting a lot of dogs turned over to us.
People just give them up. How
And
many dogs are over there now?
How many we got over there now? 6. And we figured with this, try to maybe, you know, slow that down a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not make any
So that means I may have to get the shots updated and everything else.
No, you just turn him over as is. Yeah.
I think there's some consideration for flexibility there, because some people just absolutely cannot, you know, maybe their spouse died and they live alone and can't afford to pay $100. I'm sure there's some
Yeah.
flexibility.
I mean, it's almost the point where we're getting pretty equal as far as home releases as far as picking up on the street.
Really?
And there's a lot of them that come from Walmart, and there's no way we can prove that, you know, that things are running loose there, or,
So we think that people are just driving home or letting their dog out and driving out.
we have at least 1 week.
That's a shame. Okay, any other discussion on the fee schedule?
Just a couple of things. Solicitor's permit,
Yes,
what if they don't get the permit? Then they're gonna default back down to the, work started before issuance of permit,
plus possibly a ticket.
plus the ticket. How do you know if they're in a neighborhood soliciting? How do you know? Do they have something on the hanger that
They
they
get
put out?
a badge that they have to wear.
Even the extra people that are out there?
Yes, they
Okay.
get a badge.
And the only thing that came up for my attention, the double permit fee. I thought that was pretty nice.
That's in a lot of cities, and there are some people that really want to double permit, so I've talked to them several times.
I wouldn't have problems triple, but that was very nice. I mean, I can't believe people do that, but I know it happens.
Any other discussions? Entertain a motion? Councilman Kenny?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the master fee schedule as presented, establishing and amending various fees amounts within the schedule.
All right, Councilman Kenny's made a motion in a second. Councilman, 3 seconds, all in favor? Passes. Okay, Chris. Consider an act on the interlocal agreement with the City of Corinth Fire Services. So my understanding is they didn't take any of our changes, is that correct? Thank you, Tom. Lance, what are you thinking?
Well, I guess, and, you know, the numbers, I guess, are something that John would have to be comfortable with, and not consider that. I guess what kind of stands out to me is it is locking you into a 5-year term, no out, unless both parties consent. I guess my fear is that there's a provision in here that deals with the other towns, is it Shady Shores and Dallas? Says in the event that they don't renew or are terminated, that those costs can be spread among the remaining folks. So I don't know if they're not up for renewal at the same time y'all are.
No, they are. They've already signed it.
They have.
Yeah. Well, and our, you know, one of our main things was, and this was in the old contract, was have a 90-day out. If we decided to do our own fire service, we would be able to get 90 days and interject that. So what do we need to do from here? Because I really feel more comfortable with that 90-day. In 2 or 3 years, we may be at a point where we can afford our own instead of paying the end of the agreement 5 years, which is what, $700-something thousand, which is a lot of money. So how would we go about doing that contractually with them if we're not in agreement with what they're presenting us now?
Well, it's a matter of, you're probably gonna have to give something on the fee side, I would guess, to get a shorter term, or to get an opportunity to have an out. It's probably gonna cost you more if you're willing to negotiate that, and they may not be.
Can we approve this with caveat that with the 90-day out?
I wouldn't approve anything until you've got something in place.
We still have till September before the actual contract runs out. Okay. I'd feel more comfortable if we didn't approve it either tonight, and maybe we go back and get with them one more time and kind of parallel the old contract that we had as far as that provision goes, because who knows where we're going to be in 3 years.
I think the 90 days may be negotiable, but I do feel that we need an out clause on that.
Yeah. I mean, that's any contract, or will be out.
Well, and I understand why they don't want to do that,
Sure.
but, are we willing to do a longer term of an opt-out instead of 90 days, 180 days, give them 6 months that we're going to opt out?
That would be fine. I mean, it would take us that long to wrap up.
Or, maybe it's even a year, I don't know.
Okay.
But maybe go back to, if they turned us down, so if we could go back with a longer term and say we're going to give you 180 days or 360 days, well, maybe it would take a year to ramp up.
Since Roger's not here, Jeffrey or Christie, can y'all send him an email on that? Just let him know that we didn't approve it tonight. I'm guessing we're not gonna approve it. And then with that, that's the main hang up for us, is that out there.
Do we want to take a turn?
I'm good to start with 180 days.
Thank you.
That's 6 months. What do you think, Councilman King?
I'm okay with that, 180 days. I also think percentages need to be discussed again. I mean,
Yeah,
I
11%
understand.
something.
What's that?
Is that 11% that first year?
Well, the 6% cap.
7 and then 2 to 6%.
That's right, you brought that up last meeting, I forgot about
I think that's really high, and you know, there could be a point in time when this town can't afford 6%. And I know it's a tough situation, and the other thing is I don't think the other towns have any say in the equipment fund either. It's a do or die situation, or if it's a do whatever they want to do situation. It seems like it's not written in there that, you know, there is an approval from each town member. And I understand part of the provisions of doing that stuff, and it's the city of Corinth taking it on, but I think, you know, we're giving up a lot.
I think that's why we're paying the 11% this year, make up for
Lost time.
some past expenses. Do,
So we need to add that back in
did we
too.
put it like together, was there gonna be a smaller committee that was gonna meet with them?
Just looking over the contract and all that stuff, yeah. So we need to bring that back up, so that'll be the first point, the 180 days. Second's gonna be the cap, same thing that we presented to them the first time around. Third thing, I don't know if we can negotiate that 11% that first year or not, if we should go back in and say we'll do 5.5, and so forth, so we'll see, we need to send it back to them with that. Everybody's okay with that?
And I'm okay with the equipment fund, just handing over the money to them. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's not an interest situation, as they spoke in the meeting. It has nothing to do with interest. I just don't know why we need to hand over our money to somebody else.
Because they had,
At that time, we can get a check to them pretty fast.
they had stated they didn't think that was gonna be a problem at all on that.
But they did, when they, I guess they emailed Roger back on that, so they just turned down everything.
This is the agreement that Chief Burke sent over.
Right.
Well, I think there needs to be some discussion on those points again.
All right, well, I mean, if we can't talk about this, maybe we look, fire services, we've got, 6 months? Maybe we look at fire services with another town, potentially, you know, maybe subcontract on. You know, Highland Village is right beside us, they're right across the, new bridge. They're on both sides of the new fire station right over here. Which if you look at the time from there to here versus the new station back over here,
And the new fire station?
and the one that's over off Highland Village Road.
Oh, the new, okay.
And they would probably figure heavily into additional support for Lake City anyway.
Right, they're automatic usually later, somebody gets structure part of the first come.
And I think that, I remember if it wasn't, might have been you, Councilman King, that brought up that our calls had gone down.
They were,
I mean,
both of us, but they were flat.
Yeah, ours were flat and gone down, yet we were paying
Compared
more.
to a couple towns that went up.
So we could give them all that and tell them, here's what we have, and price it out for us.
And if you look at the growth over the next 5 years in the city limits, we don't really have much room to grow.
Okay.
Except for BTJ.
Everybody okay with that? All right. Moving on then, consider an act on the Harbor Grove Phase 2 paving improvements.
This is the other part of the fixing the additional roads. We're over in Harbor Grove.
Right.
Agreed to last month, let Hatton Associates, you know, draw up the plans and all that sort of thing. So as you see in front of you, this is the proposed cost of finishing out the whole entire subdivision in Harbor Grove. If you remember, I guess about 5 years ago, we did half of it, and this is to do the other half. And like I said before, Harbor Grove had new roads completely through it. I went ahead and made them do the whole entire project. That way, if we decide to break it up into sections, then when it comes to the time we want to do the other half, we don't have to go out for the engineering plans. It's already a done deal.
Right.
We just go out for bids at that time. Basically brought this to you, that way you can see the cost estimate, so we came back in on price. We can bid the whole thing and do, you know, option 1 and then option 2, depends on what the bid come back at. I mean, there's lots of options here. Basically, just want to present it to you and see what y'all want to do from here.
Right, so the total amount was 600 plus, right?
Correct.
That's for everything over there.
That's everything over there.
You know, I just have a hard time believing it so much. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't look back to see what it cost us the first time, but I think it was right around 500,000.
yeah.
I mean, this is going in there with the cement stabilized, completely remixing the base. I mean, we're not just gonna do overlay, this is a total reconstruction of the whole every road over there.
Right.
Fixing the ditches,
Harbor Lane,
oak tree.
Elm Tree.
I mean, well, you can see the list of them here. I mean, it's, straight, Harbor, Melody, Oak Tree, Lone Tree, Hickory. I mean, there's 6,100 feet of, road repair. And I don't know if any of you drove over there, like the Oak Tree is bad. They did almost be better if their road.
Is this still in case water or sewage or whatever's ever done, they wouldn't have to go back in and tear up the road like we did the first time building?
No, at that point, I think we make them bore underneath our roads if we, you know, that's why we've kind of a standing agreement we've got now. If they do any new infrastructure, I mean, of course, if they get a repair, they're gonna have to cut the road, but if they do any new infrastructure, they're gonna have to bore wider, yeah. And I mean, if we decide to do this, and I know they went out and got some money to put in new infrastructure, if they want to go in there and put casings in, at this time, this would be the time for them to go and put casings in while we're redoing the roads. You know, that would save them
Do
some
we know
cost.
when they're doing
I
that?
was gonna ask Mr. Petticord, did they get approved at y'all's meeting? That funding?
We're waiting to see some of the bids come back. I think May 7th, I think they're gonna open the bids, take a look at them, and then they'll make a decision. I think we're only able to borrow $500,000. So they're hoping that bids will come in lower, they may come in higher. But I think they've already talked about they can't use the casings. They're gonna have to tear up the road or bore under it.
If they put casings in currently, they can't use the casings?
No, I think the city said no.
No, they can't use our casings that are underneath the first phase. But the second phase, if they want to go in there and put casings under while we're doing the new, they could do that.
I think they're gonna bore.
Okay.
So did they figure boring into the cost?
I hope so.
Me too. I wouldn't go to roads.
Be cheaper to lay the casings that would do the boring, but that's not my decision.
Okay, so I was looking at here, because there's a lot of documents here. Where was he's already got the plans done, correct?
Correct.
All the base improvement, all that's in here.
Correct.
All the square footage on the roads is in here, linear footage is in here for each road. So if we wanted to put that out and then put it in as an a la carte, you know what I mean, where we pick and choose, because we're not gonna do it all at one time.
No.
So, Chris, do you know what's in the, I didn't look.
I'm looking right now.
All right, okay.
But,
332,000.
can we use the additional road bond money too?
That is the road
Oh,
bond money.
that's the total, okay. But the road, then you got the road tax money, what's in that?
Well, we've already used a lot of that.
We used some of that, I think, in January.
Yeah, use
We got
82,000 of it.
82,000 of it, then you've got more on the agenda tonight that you want to use, so I think we probably wouldn't want to use any more of that.
So what was the dollar amount?
332,000 is what we have in the road bond. Let me see.
And part of that's actually, potentially was gonna go towards some of Turbeville improvements as well.
We've already used 92,000 of,
Road tax, so what's
this
that
year.
leave us?
And we're anticipating 180, so we've spent half of that already this year.
180 by the end of the year?
Mhm.
Yeah, so we got 88,000 left on that.
Like I said before, you know, what I can do is go through there and pick out the, you know, the 10 worst roads or the 5 worst roads, and however you decide to do it.
I think that's what we do, that's what we've done throughout the town, we've taken the least best, you know.
Correct.
And if Lone Tree's the one, I know it's the one that's got the circle that comes around the corner.
Oak tree.
Oak Tree,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a real bad, I was over there today. So. I think we need to go ahead and send it out for bid and see what we come back. We could come back and we could be totally off on these, that's for asphalt.